Okay, so this is going to be a short video on the basics of Lightroom and how to do some basic editing. Okay, so when you first open up Lightroom, you're going to go to the import section. Okay, simple, right? And then you're going to choose a folder. Now you can see that there's pictures 2017. This is just a folder that I edited. Okay, now these are already uploaded, into Lightroom, so I'm not going to have to do that, so I'm going to hit cancel. Okay, and then I'm just going to get into some basics of editing here. Okay, so let's see what would be a good image to edit. Now I like this lady here. She was Susan B. Anthony. Gosh, I don't know why I'm talking like I'm from South either. Okay, so she did a reenactment, and she was the woman who created the American flag during the Revolution. Okay, you guys can tell me. All right. So here we go. So I'm taking a look at this image, and I am thinking that this would really be good as a black and white image. So up on the right-hand side, oh, again, um, before we get started, we have up here you have your library, which is your library of images that you've imported, and then you have the develop module, which is basically what you're going to be working off of. So you have develop, you've got all different modules. You have basic, you have your tone curves, you have your detail, lens correction, transform. So you're not going to be using all of them. You're going to be using some of them. Okay, so I'm just going to click on the nifty little thing right here, black and white. Now that looks good already. So, but we got a couple of problems here. We got the background is a little bit blown out, some of it. So I'm just going to pull back some of those highlights, and then I'm gonna increase the shadows. Right? That looks pretty good. That looks better. So then I'm just going to increase the contrast so it doesn't have such a flat look to it. Okay, and it looks like it might be a little bit dark, so I'm going to increase the exposure just a touch. Okay, that's good. So let's see. All right, so this was shot at the ISO 1600 51 millimeter at 2.8 and 320 so the second shutter speed. Okay, so at 1600 there's going to be a little bit of noise in the image. I'm just going to. All right, I think that's pretty good. Now let's click on enable profile correction. Okay, so that's good. So that some of the corners, it took out some of the darkness of the corners. Now if you look down here, you'll see that it tells you which lens it corrected for. This was for the Tamron 28-75. Nowadays Lightroom has, most of the images are included in this, so so that's great. All right, and then if you scroll down, you can see the transform section, which is, I'm going to put it to auto, and it just kind of corrected the level and the lines and just made it a little bit straight. Now this feature, auto, this transform feature, is absolutely amazing in Lightroom. Okay, so now you say, okay, you know what, I'm done with this image, I'm completely happy with it. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to go to export. Okay, and I've already got a folder here that I've chosen for it, right? So I'm not going to have to set that up. So you just choose the folder that you want, and then you're going to ask, and what I always do this is put in subfolders. So this way all of your edited photos are in a subfolder of your main folder. So pretty much simple. And then you can choose the quality, I like to just choose a high quality image. It's 240 ppi and the quality of 100%. It's going to be a pretty large image. So I'm going to export. Boom. You'll see the progress. Now this is going to depend on how fast your computer is. Mine's pretty new and fast, and I forgot to shut off this Facebook here with notifications. Okay, so, and then I'm going to go back to library and see which I would like to edit next. Okay, let's see here. Alrighty. Okay. And this was an image actually that I just edited, and I'm actually going to reset it because I want to show you what I did. Okay, So this image, I thought this was really cool. There were some horses that we were in Amish country and we're driving by and we saw, you know, a bunch of horses. Now I like the image, but what I don't like is I don't like the railing in here. I think it's distracting. So I'm gonna go over here to the crop overlay, and then I'm gonna choose 16 by 9, and I'm gonna pull it up a little bit. You can still see the railing, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click on it again. I'm gonna grab over here. I'm gonna pull up over here, and then I'm gonna pull to the left because I still want that other, still like that other horse in the left in there. Stay in the image, okay? So let's see what we want to do. All right, so we're going to increase the vibrance a little bit of color. Okay. I also want to increase the sharpening for sure. It's going to pull out some more of the details. And let's see, I'm not going to really mess with the profile correction. It's not going to really do much, as you can see. I do want to put the auto in though, okay? So just kind of straightens out anything that's a little bit wonky. All right, so then I'm going to go to right click, export, and then export with previous. It's just going to put it in the previous folder. Now I've already edited this, so it's going to say, hey, we already have this here. Should I overwrite it? Yeah, overwrite it. All right. And we will do one more. Okay. And again, this is going to be one I've already edited, so I'm going to reset it. Okay. So good image, right? I like how the road kind of leading lines down there, but you can see it's a little wonky. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to auto, which is going to auto transform, but then you're like, oh, what's with the white lines? So you click on this, constrain crop, boom, it's going to put it right in place. Excellent. Now, I see the clouds and I see that there's some highlights. Now, one thing that's really good to do is you can look at your histogram up here and you can see these spikes. That is that's your exposure. So now watch this histogram as I pull the highlights down. Now the highlights are basically the brighter parts of your image, right? So that's pretty easy to now watch it go down. See, it's going to go down, down, which is good, right? Then I'm going to pull out the shadows, right? Just give a little more detail there. That's nice. Now I'm going to increase the contrast a little bit. Good. See, now look at the difference between the contrast as it is, unedited, with the contrast increasing. Now that's great because now you can see the grass, you can see the richness, the dark grass kind of pulling up, and it's really contrasting nicely with the rest. What was that, Peter? Well, go find out what it was. Okay, so you can see that the image is, it's really good. I mean, this was shot with the 70 to 200 Tamron, beautiful lens, G2. Really, really couldn't ask for a better lens. Okay, so yeah, we got everything. All right, so then we're gonna go to export with previous. Yeah, I want to override it. It's going to export it, and then simply, then when you're done, you're just going to go to your folder, and then you're going to find your pictures. So for me, it would be in the Lancaster, affiliate Lancaster, new edits. All right, and that's it. Then you got your images right there. Okay, these are the 1, 2, 3 that we did. Okay, excellent. So yeah, stay tuned. Next time we'll go into some more advanced features of Lightroom, but I think that's a good start. All right, take care.